Welcome to our first episode in Securing a Sponsor series. In this video, we are going to dive into what it takes to send out a letterhead, keep in touch with companies, and make it a secure source of funding for your team. I'm here with 15006 Nerdvana from St. Petersburg, Florida, and let's get into how this team has got their funding.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. At Kettering University, over 30% of the student population was in high school robotics. These same students have received a portion of over $7 million in scholarships. Scholarship applications for FIRST students are now available. Get more information at kettering.edu/first. SOLIDWORKS is free for FIRST teams. Over 80% of U.S. engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SOLIDWORKS to design great products. SOLIDWORKS can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team.
We are here with Team 15006 Nerdvana from St. Petersburg, Florida. This team has competed in the Gulf Coast League and were the winning lines for this year's season. And it's just interesting to see how teams have developed and changed over the season. And I would like to get into the budgeting and how this team collects their funds. So my first question for you guys is, what was your goals coming into the season, and did you guys have any initial ideas of how much money your team needed, or did you just go on as the season went?
So this year we decided that we would want about $5,000 because we wanted to start as two teams and also have the parts for all the teams and, the possibility of going to states. So we wanted to have the funding for that. So we started off with about $1,000 left over from last year, which was pretty nice to have. It's always good to leave money from the last years. And from there, we started looking for sponsorships and other ways to make money.
Okay. So for the $5,000 that you collected, what was your main source of who gave that money to you guys to use for your team?
So we had about two main sources, and that was sponsorships and concession stands. So the first sponsorship we got for the season was from a company named TutorWorks, and we reached out to them and we kind of told them about ourselves through emails, and they actually got back with us and we set up a meeting and we showed off the robots and told them about First Tech Challenge, and they were interested in sponsoring us. So that was a big win for us and one of our first sponsors this season.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know when a bunch of especially when the season the teams are starting off and they don't have that many records under their belt and stuff like that, it's very hard for them to for teams to get out to companies and them recognizing them. Because I know for my team personally, when I was back in high school, they had they just refused to accept any teams that would not go to states or go to worlds consistently. So it was just really hard for us when we were back then. So how did you guys publish yourselves out there to the main sponsorships?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It can be really hard to get sponsorships and reach out to companies when you're a rookie team or a team that doesn't have a lot of achievements under your belt, because most companies would obviously rather to sponsor a team that's doing really well. But the good thing is that what we did was we put together a letter that was or email with a professional letterhead and all that, and we would send that out to groups of companies and try and contact them, because the truth is a lot of these companies are looking for teams to sponsor and looking for STEM things to sponsor, but they just can't find it because they don't know where to look. And so when you reach out to these companies, even if you don't have a lot of achievements, if you reach out to them with a professional looking letter and you're well spoken and you set up a meeting with them, a lot of them are willing to engage with you and sponsor you, even if you don't have that experience or those accomplishments that some of these other teams do have.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a really great way to put it, because that motivates the teams that are starting out to find funding so then they could continue providing for the teams, get better parts to make the robots even better. And another really important question is how many sponsorships did you try for, and how many did you actually receive?
I believe we've tried for about 8 sponsorships at this point. We've gotten about 2, and we have another one in the works that I think we're going to get. And so, obviously sometimes you just don't get the best return on investment. But after, we got our first couple sponsors, we found that we really didn't need, much more. This was more than enough money for us. And then from there, once we got those sponsors out of the way at the beginning of the season, we were really able to just, focus in and hammer down, the building and the programming and all those kinds of aspects and kind of, because once you get the sponsors, you can, it was something we only had to do once, in the season.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
like the last thing I would like to ask you guys is for like sending out the letters that you sent to the companies. What would you guys like usually like put on it? What was your general idea of what to include
Um,
in the letters?
so we would always, have a nice letterhead that said our team name, and all that. And we would have an email for our team specifically. So, for Nerdvana, it was 15006 Nerdvana. And so that makes it, look, very professional. And, you start off, with reaching out to you for this reason, be brief, but talk about the first program. You're a group of, high schoolers that are interested in technology and building robotics, and you'd like to be able to compete, and, but you're interested in, getting to know them and a sponsorship, and you'd love to, reach out and schedule a meeting with them and show them what you're all about, and make sure to keep it, all about the principles of first and your team and keep it very professional. And another thing I would recommend is, after the season or during the season, doing mid and post season updates like, oh, we're doing great. We got some stuff, we're going to our meet two tomorrow. We're really excited. We just like to thank you guys for, X, Y, and Z, and then doing, a post season update, here's what our accomplishments were, well, oh, we got design award or, oh, we went to States. And, we really thank you for your support. And, we look forward to, next year, doing even better next year, just so that you can kind of have those evergreen sponsors and, continue those relationships from year to year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely a good point to have. It's like you want to just keep updating them, so in case if there's like anything going on, that they have to know about what you guys are doing. Otherwise, they feel like, oh, they took the money, but then they're not really doing much with it. So it's like good to like show, oh yeah, we did this, this, and this, and next year we're gonna try to do even more. So it's like when next season comes, they're like, oh yeah, this company always kept in touch with us. There's good communication with them, and I feel like they have a lot of potential going forward. So that's a good way to definitely keep the information out there. And yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Another thing I wanted to add was, it's great to have a social media presence, for your team or teams. And that way, you can be posting on there. You can thank them on there. If they'll probably have a social media presence as well if they're a company, and you can say thank you to our sponsors at them, after you post, about your meets, and then make sure to thank them publicly, thank them privately, right? Because then, when you thank them
yeah,
publicly, then they feel good because it's like they have more tags on their social media. And then you also, thank them privately to just keep that personal relationship and keep them, happy and willing to support you as well.
yeah, absolutely. And probably the last final question before we wrap this up is, how did you know which companies to reach out to and send those letters to?
So this is kind of, a hard one because, some things that we did was we would look at, STEM companies in our area. We looked at some, factories in our area, like there's a few, factories that we have people at that we reached out to. One good thing is to see like where do people's in the club, where do their parents work? Where do their relatives work? Because that can get you kind of connections with those companies. Another thing, if you don't have that, is, you can just Google like, whatever, like robotics companies in your area, STEM companies in your area, these kinds of things, and just browse through and look for ones that have, you can go for ones that are farther away from you, but also ones that have locations near you is really good because then you can actually meet them, and that makes it a lot easier to, kind of seal that deal. And so, yeah, we looked at companies near us, we looked at companies that we have connections to, and yeah, those are the main two things I would say.
Yeah, that's pretty clear and straightforward. Thank you. Yeah, in general, all this information would be like really useful towards new teams or any teams that like are running with really low budgets because I know even like my team, they started off with really low budgets for the first couple of years until we got like a really good connection because of someone who joined our robotics club. We had like almost no funding and everyone had to pay out of their pockets, and it wasn't really fun for sure. And I'm glad we could like do this video for people so then they can have like the chance to create sponsorships that give them grants and stuff like that. So thank you for joining us, and good luck at your next competitions and for the rest of the season.
Thank you for watching our first video in the Securing a Sponsor series. If you would like to be featured in one of our next upcoming videos, comment below or send a message in the fun Discord server. I'm Sahil, signing off from First Updates Now.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. SOLIDWORKS is free for first teams. Over 80% of US engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SOLIDWORKS to design great products. SOLIDWORKS can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team. At Kettering University, over 30% of the student population was in high school robotics. These same students have received a portion of over $7 million in scholarships. Scholarship applications for first students are now available. Get more information at kettering.edu/first. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.